Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely decode the profound mechanics of human speech and dive into the ancient, highly structured science of mantras. It's a topic that beautifully bridges the gap between what we do every single day when we just open our mouths to talk and the deepest, most hidden structures of our spiritual anatomy.
Okay, let's jump right in with this fascinating perspective from Shri. If we had an instrument to measure the ocean of the human soul, all achievements of material science would seem extremely small. Think about that for a second. We spend so much time marveling at our technological leaps in the physical world, but this text flips that completely upside down. It's basically saying that if we could actually measure the vast, uncharted ocean of the human soul, every single physical achievement we've ever made would look incredibly tiny. It is a powerful reminder that our greatest frontiers, well, they aren't out there in space, they're actually right inside of us.
To understand exactly how physical sounds can trigger this kind of massive spiritual awakening, here is our roadmap for today. 1. Science versus the soul. 2. The magic of speech. 3. The science of mantras. 4. Anatomy of the subtle body. And finally, 5. Awakening divine powers. Let's get into it.
Part 1. Science versus the soul. Let's take a look at our true depth.
Sure, material science is absolutely amazing. It literally unlocked the secrets of the cosmos. But the source text reminds us that the unmanifested powers of the human soul are vastly more significant. We're essentially walking around with an entire universe of untapped potential. These are latent, hidden abilities sitting entirely dormant for most of us, simply because we don't know the proper mechanism to unlock them. Which brings us to part 2, the magic of speech, arguably our most crucial human power. The text asks us to imagine a genuinely terrifying, miserable existence. What if humans just had no voice? Think about it. If we completely lacked speech, our entire society would collapse overnight. We couldn't create, we couldn't express our deepest emotions, we couldn't really do much of anything. It's literally the foundation of our physical reality. Now, it is super fascinating to contrast the everyday physical utility of speech with its much deeper spiritual foundation. On the physical side, we use it for everything: basic communication, expressing joy or sorrow, making friends, making enemies. But on the spiritual side, the text reveals something totally different. Speech isn't just a tool for chatting, it's a mysterious, deeply mechanical process designed for supreme inner progress and spiritual awakening. But how do we actually generate this sound? To create any complete articulated word, your physical components, the tongue, lips, teeth, palate, and throat, they have to work together in absolute perfect coordination. The text points out a really wild fact here. If we didn't have this precise physical machinery working perfectly in tandem, we'd only be capable of making basic, unrefined noises, much like animals. This complex physical coordination is the absolute prerequisite for what comes next. So, having understood normal speech, we cross the bridge into part 3, the science of mantras, moving way beyond basic communication. The crucial point to grasp here is that mantra shakti isn't just speaking or casually chanting words. It is a miraculous explosion of sound power, and this explosion is entirely dependent on your total internal alignment. It's this incredibly intricate combination of your physical articulation, your mental focus, and your emotional state. When those three elements perfectly align, the spoken word transforms from just communication into a sheer force of energy. And these mantras, they aren't just random syllables thrown together. According to the source, they are precision engineered based on the hidden secrets of Shabda Vigyan, which translates to sound science. These ancient structures were designed with immense intention. The creators completely understood that the specific articulation of these carefully chosen words goes far beyond mere physical movement. It acts as a key to a much, much larger lock. Which brings us to part 4, anatomy of the subtle body. This is the invisible spiritual structure that those mantras are targeting. According to the text, this subtle body is not just some vague, floating cloud of energy. It's a highly complex, structured system. It starts with 6 distinct chakras. These act as major energy centers, or spinning vortexes, serving as the vital junctions in our spiritual frame.
Integrated right into that system are 3 granthis. You can kind of think of these as deep spiritual knots, or dense blocks of energy. For true awakening to happen, these knots have to be systematically untied or pierced through, really focused spiritual practice.
Flowing dynamically through this entire energetic ecosystem are three major nadis. These are the primary channels, basically acting like an esoteric nervous system where our activated spiritual energy actually travels and distributes itself.
Powering this whole network are 10 pranas. Now, these aren't just your breath. They are the vital, subtle life energies that animate the entire subtle body, keeping this delicate machinery running at peak capacity.
And finally, the text notes that the subtle body features 54 upayakas, or minor energetic subcenters. This completes a microscopic spiritual machine that beautifully mirrors the immense complexity of our physical anatomy.
So let's put that all together. 6 chakras, 3 granthis, 3 nadis, 10 pranas, and 54 upatiyakas. When you look at it laid out like this, you realize we aren't talking about abstract mysticism anymore. We're looking at a highly specific spiritual blueprint. This exact network is what a perfectly articulated mantra is designed to stimulate. Now that we see that hidden structure, let's explore our final part, awakening divine powers, and look at exactly how the physical act of speaking a mantra activates this spiritual machinery. The source uses a totally brilliant analogy to explain this invisible interaction. It calls it the typewriter effect. Think about an old-school mechanical typewriter. Your finger presses a key at the front, a complex mechanical linkage moves inside, and a letter is forcefully printed onto a piece of paper sitting way at the back of the machine. The action happens in one place, but the profound result happens in another. Speaking a mantra works exactly the same way. It triggers a distant, highly specific spiritual reaction. The text also offers another really beautiful comparison, the harmonium effect. When a musician presses a key on a harmonium, it opens a highly specific internal reed, which then lets air pass through and produce a very distinct musical note. It perfectly illustrates the direct cause and effect relationship of sound. You press the exact right key, you get the exact right frequency. Applying these mechanical metaphors to our spiritual anatomy just makes everything click into place. The physical movements of chanting, the precise placement of your tongue, your lips, the palate, they literally strike the subtle centers of the chakras and nadis we just learned about. Just like striking a typewriter key or a harmonium reed, speaking a precision-engineered mantra creates distinct, awakening vibrations that ripple all the way through your subtle body. And what happens when this intricate machinery is properly activated? The text outlines some truly staggering results. This precise striking awakens our deepest inner consciousness. It generates specific spiritual vibrations that literally change our internal frequency. And ultimately, it unlocks dormant divine powers, referred to as Divya Shaktis, and allows the practitioner to attain supernatural abilities, the bhutis, that remain completely unknown and inaccessible to ordinary people living purely in the physical realm. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you to reflect on the immense, untapped potential hiding right there in your very own voice. We use our speech every single day for the most mundane tasks, entirely unaware of the profound spiritual machinery it is connected to. So the next time you speak, ask yourself, what latent divine power is resting inside your own words, just waiting for you to perfectly align your mind, body, and spirit to awaken it?